You know what time it is. Time for Lemon Live at 5, the Don Lemon Show. Thank you so much for joining this evening. We have got some big breaking news as it relates to Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. What are they hiding? What are they hiding? The Democrats are now using it to message, is it working? We'll talk about that. And is everybody starting to come around? Maybe on the Republican side, maybe, probably not, but we'll see. Or is Donald Trump muzzling everyone? Is he strong-arming people? Is he telling, hey, do not talk about Jeffrey Epstein? Well, that's what the reporting is. And it seems to be working, because if you're a Fox News watcher, you would hardly know that there is an Epstein story to even talk about. It is crazy. Mr. Rick Wilson is in the house to guide us this evening.
Hello, my friend.
Rick is a veteran political strategist, a New York Times bestselling author, and the co-founder of the Lincoln Project. So good to see you.
Thanks for having me, Don.
Absolutely. Rick, I don't want to start off with the F-bomb, but what the hell is going on here?
Don, we are seeing right now, for the first time in 10 years, an issue where Donald Trump has lost his base, where Donald Trump does not understand why they're angry, why they feel betrayed, because he hacked something that was central to their identity. They believed there was a giant global conspiracy of Democratic pedophiles in a pizza restaurant in New York or in Washington, D.C. They thought Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and George Soros were all a part of this thing. And now Trump is saying, nope, you were wrong. And they are angry and heartbroken. He got ratioed for the first time ever in history on his own social media platform this weekend, with tens of thousands of people going, oh, this ain't it, boss. They are angry. MAGA is divided and angry. I've never seen this before. Not just at this level. I've never seen MAGA like this ever.
Don, you're muted.
Yeah. I'm going to play something, and I want you to respond to it. I wasn't going to play this early. I want to play Ben Shapiro, because my producer calls this, what is it, Zamboni logic or something? Is that what you said it is, Peter?
Playing intellectual Zamboni.
Playing intellectual Zamboni. Okay. So this is Ben Shapiro talking to, I believe is it Megyn Kelly, maybe? Here it is.
Basically, there's two theories of this particular case. One, Pam Bondi overpromised and underdelivered, which seems to me the most plausible. Or two, there's an active cover-up that the Trump administration is engaging in of a child sex trafficking ring. And I think that if people want to make that accusation, they should just come out and say it. And if that's the case, if they want to make that accusation that President Trump and everybody who was elected to uncover this is actually now, they flipped 180, and now they're engaging in a full-scale cover-up of a child rape ring, then people should just have the balls to say it out loud and articulate it, as opposed to sort of softly peddling the possibility that it's like, just say it, because it seems to me when you articulate these two possibilities out loud, one of them is significantly more plausible than the other. Now, again, that does not relieve the responsibility on the administration to answer basic questions of fact publicly. And that's where I think the great screw up is.
What is he saying there? What is happening here?
The problem for Ben here is that the Venn diagram can overlap. They can be covering up Epstein's horrifying behavior. And also, Pam Bondi could have overpromised and underdelivered. Those Venn diagrams can overlap almost perfectly. There's not. This isn't like a mysterious thing that Donald Trump is a degenerate. This is a guy who has been found liable for sexual assault in a court of law, who has had many dozens, I would say, cases with women who have complained that he sexually assaulted them or engaged in sexually abusive behavior with them. And he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. This is not a debatable matter. We have it on video. We have it on camera. I was asking somebody the other day, like, get me pictures of Jeffrey Epstein with other celebrities. And there are one or two Jeffrey Epstein with different people, but there are hundreds of Jeffrey Epstein with Donald Trump. They are so anxious about this relationship, and Trump is he is engaging in this in a way that I've never seen him before. He is absolutely disconnected from what his base believes. And man, it is killing him.
You're muted, Don.
Yeah, sorry. This is a very sensitive mic. I hate to keep saying this because my audience has heard it over and over. When they see that video and those pictures, Rick, of Donald Trump with Jeffrey Epstein, for some reason, when they have their MAGA glasses on, they're like, oh my God, look at Jeffrey Epstein with Joe Biden. Look at right. There's Jeffrey Epstein with Barack Obama. And then I'm like, no, that's Donald Trump. And their logic on this, it defies any logic at all.
Completely done. Look, there's a lot about this belief they had for a decade that Jeffrey Epstein and the Epstein files, the Epstein, whatever you want to call it, the client list, his email, whatever you want to call the material. And the FBI seized a lot of material from Epstein, a lot. Whatever you want to call it, they kept believing that this was going to lead them to Bill Clinton, lead them to Hillary Clinton, lead them to George Soros or Barack Obama or whatever it is. And the reason this has really messed them up is they can't figure out why, if that belief is true, that Donald Trump would keep it from them, because they really want it. And they've become accustomed to not only believing this thing that isn't true, but they've been accustomed to everybody in the MAGA influencer universe saying Epstein files, Epstein files, Epstein files. When Kash Patel and Dan Bongino were podcasting, it was Epstein files, all the time. Now, them shrugging it off and going, nope, nothing to see here. Move along. It has really enraged them. And I mean, it begs the question, like, okay, why is Ghislaine Maxwell in jail? Okay.
You're right. Why is she there? Right.
Why is she in jail? Who did she traffic to no one? Was it just some random thing she did? And nobody was involved. There was no named person, because I'm going to call bullshit on that one, as most people have. She's not a good person. She's not a hero in this story, but she has been sentenced to a long time in prison. And Trump is teasing pardoning her. He's been talking about pardoning her. I mean, if you want to see the MAGA folks really implode, and if he pardons Ghislaine Maxwell, I think the ball game is really, really over at that point. Something's going to go off the rails at that point.
Okay, let's just be honest then. What is going on here? Is there a cover up? Tell me what you think, Rick, because I know that you're shy sometimes.
I know. I'm a fainting violet. Yeah. Look, I think there is an effective cover up going on here. Whatever is in those files, and again, I've said this a couple times now, they should be appropriately, because remember, the FBI seized thousands of documents, pictures, videotapes, audio tapes, all these things from his island and from his other homes. I believe that a lot of it is probably CSAM material and needs to be redacted. I agree with that. Nobody needs to see those actual things that are being redacted. I believe the Jane Does, if they want their names redacted, they should have their names redacted. But this bulk of material of this guy who is at this intersection of Trump and money and power and celebrities in this country, this is something that there's a reason they're doing this. You do not do this and take this much political radiation like Trump is taking for no reason. He has got something in his brain that the release of this damages him in a fundamental way. And so he's going to keep it on the low as long as he can. They are covering it up. And look, there's a long history of presidential cover-ups that don't work. Very few of them actually work. Most of them fall apart.
Rick, I had Jeffrey Epstein's brother on Friday.
Okay.
And I want you to listen to him. His name is Mark Epstein, and I want to know what you think about it. It's a little bit long, but bear with it. I think you're going to enjoy responding to this. Here it is.
All this information. No one's been able to come out and say this is definitely suicide with any facts, without disputing Dr. Bodden, who has done about 500 autopsies, prison autopsies, and I don't know how many Dr. Roman did, the city pathologist, but it's certainly more than one. as opposed to Kash Patel, who has, I would imagine, zero autopsy experience.
Mm-hmm. When you saw that interview with them, I think there was a couple of interviews. The one thing with Maria Bartiromo, where they sat down, and I mean, they were glum, and they're saying there's nothing there. I would be honest with you, there's nothing there. After years and years of pushing, and also calling this somehow a Democrat, according to them, conspiracy theory, and that somehow the Democrats were involved in your brother's death.
I don't think the Democrats look at it this way. Bill Barr, when he came out with that ridiculous statement, he was the Attorney General. You know, who did he look? If Jeffrey was murdered, which I believe he was, somebody did it. So the people who are coming out with these ridiculous statements, I think, are covering up for somebody, right? So who are they covering up for? You know, Bill Barr worked for the President of the United States. Kash Patel works for the President of the United States. Pam Bondi works for the President of the United States. Maybe someone should ask him what he knows.
Who do you think they're covering up for?
Who do they all work for?
They all work for Donald Trump.
Well, like I said in another interview, I wouldn't be surprised.
You wouldn't be surprised if Donald Trump was behind your brother's death? Are you saying that Donald Trump had your brother murdered, you believe?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying if that's what it was, I wouldn't be surprised.
Thank you. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that it sounds like what he's saying.
Sure, sounds like sounds like by not saying that, he's saying that, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, he's actually said it more directly to me, but he believes that he has something to do with his brother, and I think he's said it before. What do you think?
I mean, Don, look, there is a key bono question here, and I'm not engaging in the Donald Trump killed Jeffrey Epstein thing at the moment here, but I am saying the person who would most benefit from this is Donald Trump. Whether Epstein killed himself or died, the person who would most benefit from it is Donald Trump. We've got contemporaneous interviews with Trump from the time they were close friends. We have thousands or hundreds of photographs. We have video. We have social knowledge that they were close friends. They partied together. They ran together. We have Michael Wolff's interviews with Jeffrey Epstein about how close he and Trump were, how they partied together, how Trump bragged that the first time he slept with Melania was on the Lolita Express jet, all these things.
Rick, hold on. Can you hold that thought?
Yes.
Andy, can you pick that sound up from where because it goes with what Rick is saying. Can you just pick it up from where it was?
We know that Jeffrey had dirt on Donald Trump. We know that. That's a fact. Because he said in 2016 with the election that if he said what he knew, they'd have to cancel the election. He didn't tell me what he knew, but that's what he said. And I've been public about that before. That shouldn't come as a shock.
Dirt like what? Dirt about what?
Of course, Steve Bannon said that the only person he feared for Donald Trump's sake was Jeffrey Epstein. Why? What do you think? Jeffrey was going to beat him up? No, it's because of what Jeffrey knew.
There you go. And what did Jeffrey know?
Well, I don't know. He didn't tell me what he knew.
What do you think?
I think Jeffrey Epstein knew that Donald Trump was a damn degenerate. I think Epstein and Trump I think Epstein knew Trump had been with underage girls because Epstein was consistently with younger underage girls. Trump himself has always talked about how he liked to go in the dressing rooms at his beauty pageants and things like that. And again, Donald Trump is a degenerate. We have a couple dozen women who have either tried to sue him, have been settled out of court, who have made complaints to police and law enforcement about Donald Trump sexually assaulting them. Now, the one that managed to get it to the finish line was E. Jean Carroll. And in that case, Trump was adjudicated as a sexual assaulter. This is not a good guy. This is true to the character we know of Donald Trump over time. And I think Epstein and Trump were close, probably closer than Trump wants to pretend now, obviously. And he knew enough about Donald Trump that he was a political risk factor. And again, I'm not going down the rabbit hole of did Trump have him murdered? Because honestly, Trump's people are so incompetent. It shocks me that they're able to get up and eat breakfast every morning sometimes. But Epstein's death removed a significant political threat and exposure valence from Trump's world. And, Don, I got to tell you, they've brought this problem on themselves, trying to cover this up and issuing a redacted, weirdly edited video, and now pretending it was just oh, no, we didn't edit that video. And they did, saying that there's no list, there's no documents, there's nothing relevant, nothing's coming out, it's all over. It really strikes me as the clumsiest kind of cover-up. And again, the rumor I've heard, I'm still trying to run it down and lock it in, is that Susie Wiles, the chief of staff, went to Pam Bondi and said, clean this up. He doesn't want it out. And that Bondi saluted smartly and said, we're not going to put it out. Now, this tension between Patel and Bondi and Bongino and Bondi and MAGA and Bondi, she's under the gun right now from these folks. They want her head. And it's so strange because Trump seems to be more aware of the risk here than the MAGA folks are about the risk here. They're almost more willing to sacrifice Trump to keep that illusion that Epstein is going to end up exposing Democrats as in this conspiracy that they have about him. It is Don, it is a really, really weird world to be in right now.
Well, it is weird. It's weird to me that he does not want to talk about it. I think it's weird to everybody that he doesn't.
Yeah,
that he's
100%. It's weird. It's weird that he doesn't want to talk about it because, he benefited mightily from people believing that he was going to find the lost children and expose the pedophile rings and punish these human traffickers and all these things that they really internalized on. They really believed it. And I mean, look, any of us who know Donald Trump and have watched Donald Trump, we're almost laughing about it because he's the last person. It's like O.J. Simpson finding the real killer. Okay, he's just not that guy. He doesn't care about this stuff, but he was able to use it and willing to use it to convince so many people, to convince so many of his followers that this was the Rosetta Stone, like I said, to blowing up the entire Democratic Party. He was going to destroy all of them. I mean, shit, here's an irony for you. RFK Jr. is like, somebody asked him, like, did you know Jeffrey Epstein? And he just says, oh yeah, I traveled on his jet many times. Like, what?
Okay, look, every time I hear this, and the first time I heard it, I was driving. I almost ran off the road when I heard this. Let me play it for you because seriously, it is. I'm like, is this? Am I watching SNL? Like, what the hell is going on? Watch.
He allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the news?
Yeah, sure.
Could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
A desecration. I swear I was like, is someone going to say this is AI? I mean, come on.
The person in that exchange that I was watching closely was Marco Rubio, who looked like he was going to chew off a leg.
He's like, just put the video up without the sound so we can see. He's like he's watching a tennis match. Like,
right? No, but look, I mean, Trump. What you saw there was Trump trying to use his superpower, which is the power to change the subject with his base
and to shape his own reality.
Yeah, right. To craft his own reality.
Yeah,
and you can see from the body language, the hands, the slumped over posture, all of it. He's pissed. He's like, we're changing the subject, and I'm not going to do anything more. And then he goes out And Truth Social posts a few days later, stop talking about Epstein. How'd that work out, Don?
Oh my God. Stop about Epstein. But then did you see the longer tweet?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. The longer tweet was so deranged and so cuckoo. I read it. I was sitting on the couch reading it, and I was just like, he is absolutely losing his shit. This guy is losing his damn mind because he feels something has slipped, something ain't right. And that his base and that the influencer class of the MAGA world, from Charlie Kirk to Steve Bannon, Megyn Kelly, Cat Turd, Jack Posobiec, all these people, they also want to know what's in the Epstein materials. They also want to know what's going on. And they're mad because they feel like Trump is blowing this and they feel like Trump is betraying them. And look, a lot of these people made a lot of money off this Epstein stuff. A lot of these people have made a lot of money monetizing their podcasts and their social media presence with these constant, like, we're fighting the pedophiles. Oh, are you? Well, now you're good with hiding it. Okay, cool.
Is he just making them look like assholes?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, look, they're assholes to begin with, by and large. But he's certainly adding some icing to the cake of assholes.
Well, I want you to stand by. If you can stand by, just give me 2 minutes here because I got to read. I got to get the breaks in. I got to pay the bills.
Do the things, man. Pay the bills.
If you don't mind, sir.
I do not.
All right. So stand by. We'll get back to Rick Wilson in just a moment. But I need to tell you guys that support for the Don Lemon Show today comes from Wild Alaskan. I told you I was going to do it for lunch. I did a little Wild Alaskan for lunch. It was great with a little veggies. And then I had to go to the car wash. And then I had to go and get the doggy clean, and he's barking now in the background. So that's what we did. And you guys know I love all of the fish. Today, I actually, what did I have? Did I have salmon? I think I had salmon today. No, it was tuna. I had tuna for lunch. Okay. So look, when was the last time that you truly trusted seafood that you brought home? I used to question everything from nutrition to taste to sustainability. And now I've discovered the Wild Alaskan Company. Wild Alaskan is 100% wild caught, never farmed. This means there are no antibiotics, no GMOs or additives, just clean, real fish that support healthy oceans and fishing communities. Their fish is frozen right off the boat to lock in the taste, the texture, and the nutrients like omega-3s. Wild caught from Alaska, every order supports sustainable harvesting practices, and your membership delivers flexible shipments, expert tips, and truly feel-good seafood, okay? So you guys know I like it. I've been telling you about it, and you can trust this. It's risk-free. If you don't like your first box, Wild Alaskan will refund your money, no questions asked, okay? No risk, just high-quality seafood. Not all fish are the same. Go get your seafood that you can trust. Go to wildalaskan.com/lemon for $35 off your first box of premium wild-caught seafood. That's wildalaskan.com/lemon for $35 off your first order. Thanks to Wild Alaskan Company for sponsoring this episode. Support for the episode today also comes from BetterHelp. BetterHelp, as you know, I am a big fan of therapy. I am a big fan of getting your therapy where you can. If that means you got to do it online or on the phone or not in person, then I believe in that. If you want to do it in person, you can do that too. There's no stigma. And right now, we are so stressed out, especially in the workplace. Workplace stress is the top cause, one of the top causes of declining mental health. 61% of the global workforce is experiencing higher than normal levels of stress. So to battle stress, you just can't wave goodbye to work. You got to start small with a focus on wellness. So here's what you do. That's where BetterHelp comes in. More than 30,000 therapists. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally, and it works with an App Store rating of 4.9 out of 5 based on almost 2 million client reviews. It's convenient, too. Join a session at any time. You can click just at the click of a button. As the world's largest online therapy provider, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Our listeners get 10% off of their first month at betterhelp.com/DonLemon. That's betterhelp.com/DonLemon. Thank you very much for that. Okay, Rick Wilson back with us. Rick, so here's the deal, Rick. Donald Trump is strong-arming people now.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard that news?
I've heard that news. I've heard from some folks who have who some of my contacts on the right have said directly, they're hearing from the White House, you keep talking about Epstein, we're cutting you off. You don't get to come in the press room anymore. You don't get to get any briefings anymore. The president will cut you out of the system. And I think it's starting to work on a few of them. I don't think it's working on all of them.
Wow. Sorry, sir. I was there trying to fix my lighting because I'm really, really orange. I hit the wrong thing. Look at that. So I want to play this. This is from what's his name? Charlie Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Kirk was one of the main, they were at, CPAC this weekend. He's Turning Points USA.
TP USA. Yep.
He was really upset about this, saying, oh, they're doing something there. I don't know what's going on. There's got to be some sort of cover up. And now this is what Charlie Kirk is saying. Watch this.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands. I've said plenty this last weekend. So if you guys want to see my commentary on it, that's fine.
What do you think of that, Rick?
That is the most chicken shit thing I think I've ever heard, because this is a guy who a few hours before was at his own conference going rip shit about Jeffrey Epstein. Every person at his conference, Steve Bannon, Megyn Kelly, Jack Posobiec, all these people at the conference were going crazy. Now, Charlie Kirk lives and breathes by Trump's approval. If Trump goes out and says, TPUSA, I don't like it. It's grifty. It's weird. I don't like that Kirk fellow. He looks like a flounder. Charlie Kirk's political and economic life ends that day, that minute. It's over. And so he clearly has gotten browbeaten. So deep state Charlie Kirk has now been gotten to by the deep state.
Wow. They really put themselves in a bind. This is what the New Republic is reporting. So we're not just saying this. New Republic, and I think there are others reporting it. I think even CNN is reporting it. That Trump is bullying MAGA influencers to fall in line on Epstein, and not just MAGA influencers. I believe he is bullying, you can correct me if I'm wrong, lawmakers, telling folks how to talk about it, and even the Fox News, because according to, check this out, this is Media Matters. Media Matters is reporting, on to Media Matters. Media Matters is someone that is saying that they have not heard Epstein mention all day. This was at noon.
It was the Matthew Gertz tweet.
Oh, Matthew Gertz tweet. Sorry about that. They had mentioned Biden 46 times and Epstein 0. And this is according to Matthew Gertz. Fox News Live mentions today as of noon 46 Biden, 0 Epstein.
Don, make no mistake. There is a profound shaping mechanism inside MAGA. And the influencer world, Fox News, and Twitter are the three sort of pillars of how MAGA voters are kept in line. Now, what happens here, that's the most interesting question, is does Elon Musk put his thumb on the scale on Twitter and keep the Epstein news in the faces of MAGA social media folks? I think he probably does. I think that is a weak spot here for Trump. And look, did Trump call Rupert or Lachlan and say, you have to stop this right now. You're hurting me very badly. What do you need? I'll give you 10 in the Oval interviews, or whatever deal he made. With Charlie, like I said, it's just like shut up, kid. Do what I tell you. And a lot of these other ones, they get a phone call from Donald Trump and they're gonna fall into line, but some of them are not gonna fall into line. And look, Charlie Kirk admitted it. I'm going to trust my friends in the White House. He's actually Charlie's own base. I mean, there were kids at that conference this weekend who were up there ranting about the deep state getting to Trump. I think if you follow Trump down this rabbit hole and you're a MAGA influencer, your chances of coming out alive are pretty low.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Look, the MAGA base does not have to operate on a rational set of principles. And they don't. They believe things that are not true. They have done this for a long time. They believe in this Epstein thing. Don, think about it. 10 years now, they've been told Jeffrey Epstein ran a Democrat pedophile ring. that operated out of a pizza restaurant in Washington, and he knows all the secrets of Bill Clinton. They all go to Sex Island or whatever it is. They fly on his jet. They're all corrupt. And the folks in MAGA, this is one of the things that made them stick to Trump. They thought only he would be brave enough to release the information, to go after the pedophiles, to go after the criminals, to go after Jeffrey Epstein's Democratic friends. And obviously, Trump's doing this to protect himself, and the cognitive dissonance inside them is telling them the truth, and they hate it. And so I think that people in the influencer class who are saying, oh, nothing to see here, move along, all of a sudden, after spending a week going, Donald, what the fuck, bro? I mean, Charlie Kirk's own base of support, those people are going to be like, you sure about that? I actually kind of love how wrapped around the axle they are on all this stuff right now. It is really kind of glorious, honestly.
What are the chances of this? I don't know if you're looking at the screen now. Redbird72 says, come on, media, stand up, push back. What are the chances the media will do that?
The MAGA media? Indifferent to low, but the mainstream media is absolutely having a field day on this because, look, they get it too. A lot of mainstream media folks who are still at the networks get beat on. You and I both know how this happens. You know, Trump or one of his people will call corporate at CNN or Fox or MSN or wherever, scream bloody murder, go absolutely, ham on them.
Say it louder for the people in the back, Rick.
Yep. Guys, the national media, their corporate ownership structures get called by Trump. Why do you think 60 Minutes was forced to settle that suit? Because Paramount wanted to do a merger with Skydance. They knew Trump would block it if 60 Minutes, which Paramount owns, didn't do the deal. They hear it at CNN, at Fox, at MSN, at the networks all the time. Trump does not hesitate to get on the phone to the corporate heads of these companies and say, I will screw you. I will turn the power of the government against you and your board and your network if you don't do what I want. No president in history has done it as crudely as presidents have been willing to call networks and go, hey, can you spare me a little bit here? Can you not do this or that? Mostly on national security stuff, but Trump does it when it makes him look bad. And so, it's the cause, Don, of why Substack and other alternative media is growing like a weed right now, because we're not going to be intimidated by this guy. He's going to try to threaten people. Sure. Is he going to threaten people at the networks every day? Are they going to say, damn, we don't want to lose our correspondent at the White House? And so, that's why I think a lot of them right now have an opportunity here to go at Trump on something where he is truly vulnerable. It's not just like Orange Man bad. This is like, were you a part of a pedophile ring, Donald Trump? Did you sleep with underage girls when you were partying with Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump? They've got a moment here that if they take it, I think some of them can redeem some of their honor they've lost in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and now would be the moment. And by the way, you're so right. We have massive engagement today. So guys, make sure you hit that thumbs up so that we can get more, because we need it out here on these independent streets, right? We need
absolutely
folks to engage with us, to support us, to become members to our channels, to subscribe to our channels. And am I wrong, Rick?
Not at all. I mean, look, this idea, I started writing on Substack. Substack sent me a notice that I've posted 92 weeks in a row, which I'm like, wow. But I got to the point where I would write a piece for the Washington Post, the New York Times, or wherever, and they'd be like, this is so great, and then it would disappear. And it would disappear because they were afraid of crossing that line and getting yelled at much of the time. Well, our red state readers, okay, cool. If that's how you want to play it, but now I'm reaching more people when I write something on my Substack than I did when I wrote for the Daily Beast or the New York Times or Washington Post or anywhere else. And God love them, they're great institutions, but they are not immune from political pressure.
And pressure is coming here. But the interesting thing is, one of the people with one of the biggest social media platforms in the world is saying, release the dove, release the information, right? Release the hounds. And that is Elon Musk, who tweeted out that Donald Trump was in the Epstein files.
Correct.
And that's when it all went to shit after that. No?
Look, that triggered triggered a lot of this chaos. And I suspect that the moment that tweet hit, Pam Bondi got that phone call from Susie Wiles. I think the moment that tweet hit, Pam Bondi said, "Uh-oh, this ain't good."
That's it.
You know?
This ain't good. And what? Look, Elon Musk tweeted, this was what? Today is what's today's date? This was 2 days ago. Seriously, he said Epstein half a dozen times while telling everybody to stop talking about Epstein. Just release the files as promised.
Right. Look, Trump has said over and over again, the most transparent White House in history. They could probably drop that line of attack right now because that's just bullshit at this point. Trump has said over and over again, I'm going to release all the JFK stuff, all the Martin Luther King stuff, all the UFO stuff, all the 9/11 stuff. Okay, great. Let it roll, baby. But this is something of massive public interest. This is something that has been a part of our political direction in this country for a decade now. And if he doesn't release it, it is for a reason that we must conclude, as I like to say, Occam's razor is sharp and true. If he doesn't release it, it's not because he wants to protect the identities of Bill Clinton. It's because he wants to protect himself or his friends. You know, Holly Choquette just made a point, Don, about a whistleblower. I think this is another thing that the White House is very, very nervous about right now. The FBI rank and file, they hate Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, and I've heard from people in the FBI right now, senior and middle, who think that those two are the worst clowns to ever besmirch the agency. And hundreds of FBI agents handled these files. Hundreds of FBI agents that participated in the raid on Epstein's island and on his homes and on his home in Arizona and gathered this material. These people know things. And so I think the White House right now is extremely nervous that unless they lock this down right away, that people will eventually say it's a cover-up. Cover-ups do not survive in the modern era like they used to. So, Ben Franklin / Russian adage, 3 people can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. There are hundreds of people who know what's going on here, who have seen this material. And at some point, I hope one of them or more than one of them says, I'm going to tell the truth about this. I'm not going to let this be covered up. I'm not going to let this be hidden because it protects the president.
Interesting. By the way, I just wanted to respond to something, Rick, because we were talking about supporting independent media. RR says, stop telling us to hit the likes. We already know. And I responded by saying, people join the show minute by minute.
Right.
You may have heard, but
Yes.
they may not have heard. So thank you for understanding. Thank you for your support. I appreciate that. Okay, so listen, can we talk about the Democrats now? Because if I were a Democrat, okay, let's just say that I'm Hakeem Jeffries. I'm going to play. All right, put it up. Hakeem Jeffries warns Trump on the Epstein files. Okay, so what is this? Politico? Who is this again?
That's Axios.
This is Axios. Okay, so that's what Axios is saying. Jeffries signals support of Epstein.
I'm such a hack. I know the fonts.
I know. And then Jeffries does this earlier today. Here it is.
Over the last few days, a number of members of your caucus have been posting and engaging in some of the discourse about Jeffrey Epstein. Is this appropriate for your members to be doing so? Do you want to see any action on that front?
The American people deserve to know the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth as it relates to this whole sordid Jeffrey Epstein matter. Democrats didn't put the Jeffrey Epstein thing into the public domain. This was a conspiracy that Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, and these MAGA extremists have been fanning the flames of for the last several years. And now the chickens are coming home to roost.
What do you think?
You know what? Look, I think the better way to handle this was this weekend when John Ossoff in Georgia just went straight out and said, Donald Trump is covering up pedophilia. He's covering up the Epstein files. I'm not going to stand for it. I think the Democrats honestly should be out there right now, and they should promise right now, if you put us in the majority, we will investigate the Epstein matter no matter where it leads, Republican or Democrat. We will bring these people before us. We will find out about the cover-up, and we will release this material so that the American people can understand whether or not their president was a pedophile.
Okay, I'm going to play one more from Jeffries. Here we go.
Over the last few days, a number of members of your caucus have been...
There are only two things that are possible here. Option one, Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, and the MAGA extremists intentionally lied to the American people for years about the Jeffrey Epstein situation. That's option one. Option two is that, in fact, there's reason for the American people to be concerned as it relates to what information has not been released that could be damaging to the Trump administration and the friends and family of the Trump administration and their billionaire corrupt supporters. And so they're actively engaging in a cover-up. Option one, they lied for years. Option two, they're engaging in a cover-up. At this point, it seems reasonable that can only be one of the two things. And so it's Congress's responsibility in a bipartisan way to ask the questions and try to get answers on behalf of the American people.
You know, I mean, he said it in a very discreet sort of congressional way. I would be more blunt about it. And I think, Don, one of the secrets here is, and I want to go back, I keep going back to this, I know. This was so fundamental to the center of what the MAGA voter believed in. It was so much a part of their personality, of their belief structure, of their definition of who they were. They thought no one would save the children. Well, now we're saying that the children didn't matter, Donald.
Yeah.
And I think Jeffries, like I said, I think Ossoff really set the tone. I think other folks that have been out there punching at Trump also. Swalwell's doing a great job. A number of them have been out there swinging pretty hard at the guy and using this as a way to push that wedge into the MAGA base, which we've rarely seen. This is a really rare occurrence.
When I watched today, because I was out, I told you I was out doing stuff. I had the thing with the dog and all that. Okay, so here's the thing. I was out today, and as I'm going in our editorial call, I was like, play the how long was, I'm sorry, team, I missed it. How long was the Jeffries press conference in response? And we started playing it, and we had to wait until about 10 minutes in to get to the Epstein stuff. He started talking about Ukraine and the bill, I think some other stuff. I forget exactly what they started talking about.
You know,
and you know what I'm saying, right?
I 100% get it, Don.
Do you want to know, Rick? Let me show you how you take hold of the news cycle. I'm so glad that you guys, everyone is gathered here today. Let me just be clear about this. Donald Trump and the Trump administration, including Pam Bondi and all the folks who work at the FBI, they are covering something up for this president. They have been asking and talking about releasing the files, and now all of a sudden they don't. What is going on? We should demand answers. Like, just come out right away. How long has the war been going on in Russia and in Ukraine? It's been going on for years. Of course, we know that. And all the other things they lied about you and all, we know that. But to own the news cycle, you got to come out hard hitting and a little bit provocative and controversial about Jeffrey Epstein. That is what the zeitgeist is. What is it? What was it up like? It was up like 1,200% the searches on Google for Trump and Epstein. What are they doing?
Don, look, the Democratic Party brings a live, laugh, love throw pillow to a gunfight very frequently. And this idea that you have to fight on the terrain where the battle is being fought is something that they miss a lot. This is not my honorable friend across the aisle. No. This is, hey, my honorable friend across the aisle is defending a pedophile. Maybe. We don't know because he's covering up the records. And the MAGA has been very loose about calling people pedophiles for a long time.
What would you have done?
But if the shoe fits, I would have let off with it. I would have let off, Don. I would have come right out and said, this news conference, I know there are a lot of questions out there, but Washington and this country are in a crisis of faith about the trust in our government. We believe there's an active cover-up going on right now of Donald Trump's administration. Just like you said, you lead out with that, and you lead with it all the time. There should be no moment of peace for a Republican member of Congress. There should be no moment of peace for a Trump cabinet member. There should be no moment of peace for Donald Trump himself. There should be no moment of peace for the influencer class in MAGA that are now trying to swing back and pretend that none of this happened. They need to be driven on and on and on.
You're right. Look, they have been for years, Donald Trump, all of his supporters, they have been pushing for these Epstein files. Yep. Now, all of a sudden, they're in power and they don't want to release them. By the way, let me just remind everyone within the sound of my voice that Jeffrey Epstein died. When he died, Donald Trump was president of the United States.
Yes.
I think, wasn't Pam Bondi the AG of...
She was the AG of Florida at the time, I believe.
And if she had an opportunity...
No, Don, I have to retract that. She was a lobbyist being paid $150,000 a month by Qatar at that time.
Oh, okay. But she was the attorney general.
Formerly AG.
Formerly AG. She could have done something about it when she was AG. I'm just saying.
Correct.
By
the way, and Jeffrey Epstein was a known quantity in Palm Beach, Florida, while she was AG the entire time.
That's what I'm saying. So Pam Bondi had the opportunity to do that. Jeffrey Epstein not only went to jail, but he died on Donald Trump's watch when he was president of the United States. Yep. And now all of a sudden they're in power again, and he has the audacity to insinuate that these files, the FBI files and records and evidence that it was written by a Democratic president. When would Barack Obama have the time to write the Jeffrey Epstein files? This is ludicrous. This is ridiculous. And now we should all demand the release because the American people deserve better.
Right. And look, if the Democrats take the majority back in 26, they need to follow up with this. They need to make accountability a thing again. This is something that if the Department of Justice, which has been corrupted by Donald Trump, I used to get mad at Eric Holder because he was sort of like occasionally touched on something a little political. Pam Bondi wakes up in the morning and says, what does Donald Trump want me to do as his private lawyer here at the Department of Justice? It's absurd. It's obscene. And I really believe that if the Democrats take power in 26, they must drag these people kicking and screaming in front of Congress every single day. They need to freeze the Department of Justice's budget. They need to do the things that follow a rule that Democrats so often forget. Power isn't real unless you use it. They need to use the power of congressional oversight to bring justice to this country again. These people in the DOJ and the White House are ultimately the most corrupt folks that have ever been in that White House in history, bar none, no question about it. And this is time. This is the time for Democrats to make this a part of an accountability thing and an anti-corruption thing that can help them win in 26.
Is Bondi worse than Bill Barr?
Oh, yeah. Now, she's dumber than Bill Barr by an order of magnitude. Bill Barr, say what you will, is not a stupid man.
Right.
He's not dumb.
Yeah.
Because, by the way, when Bill Barr was told to investigate the Lincoln Project, he actually said to the White House, to Meadows, like, no, that's stupid. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
But Bondi is her two qualities for Trump, that she is blonde 3 qualities. She's blonde, thin, and obedient. That's all he cares about.
Rick, do you have a couple more minutes to talk to us? Because I have something on it.
Yeah, buddy, absolutely. Sure.
Okay, stand by.
Yeah.
Let me pay some bills, and I swear I'll be back to you real quickly. Yeah. Okay, so support for the Don Lemon Show today comes from, guess what? Lean, Lean, okay? So I asked you guys this morning, and I've been studying this stuff. I want to know, have you ever heard of Caralluma? It is the edible cactus that grows in India, and it is a natural appetite suppressant. My Tim has been taking this lean. He loves it. I took it in the beginning, but I've lost so much weight, gained some on vacation. I don't need to lose any more weight. So Caralluma is just one of the natural ingredients doctors added to this remarkable weight loss supplement called lean. If you have a bold summer weight loss goal, but injections aren't for you, they aren't for a lot of us, here's what the doctors who formulated lean said. They said that this supplement is as close to what you can, the benefits that you can get of those popular injections. And like injections, lean was created to help maintain healthy blood sugar and to help control appetite and cravings. All right. But the rare ingredient in lean also is designed to help burn fat and convert that fat into energy. And the best part, no needles, just real results. Doctors created a healthier way to lose weight by capturing the power of natural ingredients like Caralluma. It's just smart. So let's get you started. 20% off. Just use code lemon20 at takelean.com. That's code lemon20 at takelean.com. Now, let me just tell you this, okay? These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. The product is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure, or prevent any disease and is not a substitute or alternative for care from your healthcare provider. Always check with your doctor. Support for the Don Lemon Show today also comes from the Freedom from Religion Foundation. It is summer. Man, I got to talk to so many people about the subjects we're talking about today and all the other subjects that we're going to continue to talk about on this program today and beyond. And folks are telling lots of stories. Some of them are informed, some of them are not. You know, there are folks out there claiming that the U.S. was founded as a Christian nation, pushing their religion into classrooms, courtrooms, and even your doctor's offices, okay? You know what they're doing? Abortion in Arizona, voters protected abortion rights in the state constitution. Politicians are trying to undermine that. You know, they're pushing to get the 10 Commandments in a couple of states into every public school classroom. And then Congress has passed this bill to strip Medicaid for gender-affirming care for all ages. This is not about personal beliefs. This is about power. And it's happening under the banner of Christian nationalism. And that's where the Freedom from Religion Foundation comes in. They have been defending church-state separation since 1978 in the courts and the schools and wherever religion tries to take the wheel. So if you believe government should serve everyone and not just the religious right, make sure you join them. Go to ffrf.us/freedom or text my name, Don, to 511-511 and become a member today. So join them and go to ffrf.us/freedom or text Don to 511-511 right now, because the only story that should run this country is ours, not theirs. So text fees may apply. I should have teased this before because I just want to play one more thing on this subject, Rick Wilson, and just show one thing. This is Candace Owens, because we were talking about whether it was, she said, Donald Trump said that Barack Obama had written the Epstein files. Candace Owens says that she may never be able to forgive Trump for putting her in the position where she has to defend former President Obama related to Trump's allegation about the Epstein files. It's not working with everybody.
You know, look, I think if you lost Candace Owens and you're a if you've lost Cronkite, you no, look, I think there are a lot of these folks who if Trump calls them, they're going to say, okay, yes, sir, Mr. President. But there's still going to be a critical mass out there of people who really have, again, made this a part of their shtick for years. The Alex Joneses of the world are still going to be out there. And Elon, if you're listening, you have the power to put your thumb on the scale on Twitter, because you do it all the time, bro. And I think the Epstein story will continue to percolate, because a guy with 200 million Twitter followers who posts it every couple of days is going to keep it churning no matter what.
Interesting. Can we move on now and talk about the mayor's race?
Sure.
Because, you know, I live in New York City, and wow, I've been hearing an earful, especially this weekend, going to lots of summer dinners, and everyone, the subject around the table, these big round tables of people having dinner.
Yeah.
It's the mayor's race. And so we heard this. You remember what happened with Andrew Cuomo, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, you mean the least acceptable candidate to run for years?
Yeah, but here's the breaking news. Watch.
Hello, I'm Andrew Cuomo. And unless you've been living under a rock, you probably know that the Democratic primary did not go the way I had hoped. To the 440,000 New Yorkers who voted for me, a sincere thank you. Thank you for believing in me, in my agenda, and in my experience. And I am truly sorry that I let you down. But as my grandfather used to say, when you get knocked down, learn the lesson and pick yourself back up and get in the game. And that is what I'm going to do. The fight to save our city isn't over. Only 13% of New Yorkers voted in the June primary. The general election is in November, and I am in it to win it. My opponent, Mr. Mamdani, offers slick slogans, but no real solutions. We need a city with lower rent, safer streets, where buying your first home is once again possible, where childcare won't bankrupt you. That's the New York City we know. That's the one that is still possible. You haven't given up on it, and you deserve a mayor with the experience and ideas to make it happen again, and the guts to take on anyone who stands in the way. Every day I'm going to be hitting the streets, meeting you where you are, to hear the good and the bad, problems and solutions. Because for the next few months, it's my responsibility to earn your vote. So let's do this. I'll see you out there.
I'll let you go first.
So I've done multiple campaigns in New York, a couple mayor's races, been around the block. I've been a senior advisor to the mayor of New York City. I'm pretty familiar with New York politics, I would say. He's going to get his ass whipped like a rented mule. Look, I think Mamdani is a terrific candidate. I think he's honestly politically a little superficial. A lot of the stuff he's talking about is unimplementable.
Thank you for speaking the truth. I'm trying to, it was so weird this week, and I'll let you finish. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Trying to explain to people the appeal of Mamdani. Just explaining to them how people feel about him. They're like, well, he's an anti-Semite. I was like, I'm not saying that. I'm telling you that you guys need to get out because you're not reading the room. They are not reading the room. And they all think that Eric Adams actually has a chance to win. I'm like,
oh my God. Eric Adams will get 5% in the end. Eric Adams will get support of his immediate family members. Look, here's the thing about Mamdani that people need to understand. He is a thoroughly modern candidate. He understands where the battle is won and lost. It's social media. It's his presentation. And he is incredibly gifted. Do I think he has a lot of issues? Yeah. I can tell you something about being mayor of New York. 99% of what you do is water main breaks, cops get shot, firehouse, streets collapse, buildings collapse, potholes need to get filled, schools need a new roof. 99% of it is not the drama of Rudy on 9/11. 99% of it is boring, grinding work in a city with 8 million people and 790 square miles of New York. It is hard, boring work. And for Mamdani, I'm sorry, there's not a deputy mayor for seizing the means of production. There's not a deputy mayor for ideological purity. This is a big city. It's a hard job. It's the toughest executive position in municipal government in the country. Can he do it? I don't know. Can he win it? Most likely. Can Andrew Cuomo? The voters already said no once. There's a very narrow number of cases where people, once they get rejected in a primary, go out and win as an independent. There's one that springs to mind, Lisa Murkowski in Alaska. But this is not, Cuomo is not a guy with whom the people of New York feel sympathetic. They don't feel like he can do that job. They feel like he was forced out of the governor's office because he was a creep. And for all Mamdani's ideological, like I'm going to call it fantasies, because of the city-owned grocery stores and all that stuff, it's not going to work. Could he be a good mayor though? Maybe. You never know till you're tested in these things. And if he decides that that the way that people in New York need to be treated equitably is for a mayor who shows up in their communities and talks to them and listens to them and takes care of shit when shit goes wrong. And in New York, something's going wrong every goddamn minute of the day. Could be a great mayor if he does that. But it's a hard city. And yes, I do think there's been a little too much cuteness about the anti-Semitic stuff and about the Palestine stuff, where there's a difference between not taking the Republican bait and some of the stuff that seems to my mind to be a little ugly. But look, he is a tremendous candidate. As an operational candidate, 10 out of 10. He's a Bill Clinton level guy. He's a Barack Obama level guy. I study people who do this for a living. He is remarkably talented. Democratic socialism, blah, but whatever. Somebody said Rick is old. Yes, I'm 61 years old, and I've been doing politics for 40 years now. How about you? So
I needed you this weekend. So look, I think that you are. Look, I needed you this weekend because I was trying to explain to people, and a lot of folks, even if you're explaining it to them, especially, I have a lot of friends. I am the United Nations of friends. And
oh yeah,
all different backgrounds and a lot of Jewish friends, and they think he's anti-Semitic, and I can't speak on that part. And I think that he does need better answers, especially on the whole thing about globalizing the Intifada and that sort of thing. It needs a better answer. And so I agree with that. And I respect my Jewish brothers and sisters if they feel a certain kind of way. But you cannot deny that he has an appeal to a lot of people in New York City. And some of the things that you think about him or you're saying about him around this table, I haven't found any facts to support it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah. So I look, I agree with you and I disagree with you. I don't think that he is a Barack Obama or a Bill Clinton now, but he is ascending.
He's got the potential, Don.
Yeah, there we go. So I agree. We agree on that part. But the other thing is, let me just play this because I just want to know what you think about this.
Sure.
This is a lot of what I hear and the kind of conversations I have, and I want to know how to navigate them better because I want to be able to respect all people. Here it is.
Are you thinking or feeling any differently about what it means for you to be Jewish in this moment?
Yes, I am. I'll let them go first.
I hate the way some people are using anti-Semitism
claim
as a claim for anybody that is critical about a certain policy. As far as I am concerned, compassion for every person in Gaza, is very Jewish. And the fact that I abhor the policies of the leader of that country does not mean I'm a self-hating Jew or I'm anti-Semitic.
You mean Netanyahu when you say the leader of that country?
Yeah. Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yes. I feel this is the behavior, the politics of what he's doing is the worst thing for Jewish people. It's like lighting a candle for anybody that has any anti-Semitic feelings. It's creating a generation of wounded and hurt kids who will understandably be very angry. So that is how I feel, and I feel, I really feel deeply troubled and horrified by what is happening in my name.
10, 15 years ago, I was in Philadelphia.
Basically the same thing, not to disrespect Manny Patinkin, but do you understand the sentiment there? Do you understand where I'm going with this?
Yeah, totally. Look, here's the thing. It's sort of a weird story. I was involved in trying to beat Netanyahu in 2021. I mean, we wanted to get rid of the guy. I thought at the time that a center-right, more non-sectarian leader could emerge. Didn't work. Netanyahu is the most skillful politician for self-preservation in the world. He doesn't care who gets killed in the process. He doesn't care what calamities he causes in the process. And look, no one's going to go defend Hamas, but there are excesses. And so Mamdani has found himself in this, I think, wedge slightly, because definitionally Intifada is not a good outcome. But that's not a defense of Netanyahu. That's not a defense of what he's done in Gaza. I mean, striking Hamas is one thing, but what's happened since then, Hamas has been dismantled, and it's been a year now, and it's not getting better. It doesn't look pretty. So anyway, Don, what I want to say, though, again, to get back to Mamdani for a second.
Well, that's what I was trying to, because Mamdani that's been happening with him, that the anti-Semitism, because he's very critical of Israel. And so, they're saying that he's anti-Semitic. That's why I said it. And it's hard.
If he wants to talk about it, he should be talking about Netanyahu.
Right.
That's where I think he could find real commonality with a lot of people, including people who support Israel's right to exist, who are very critical of Netanyahu. Netanyahu, I mean, my experience in Israeli politics has been that Netanyahu, he is a deeply unpopular and polarizing figure, but he is also considered by a lot of Israelis the bad guy you want when times are hard. And it's a really ugly dynamic. But look, and again, I think this race will go Mamdani's way. I don't see Eric Adams crossing 5%. He is deeply corrupt. I do think that the Trump administration will try to play fuck around in this race. They'll try to get in there and turn Mamdani into their new devil, which they always like to have somebody from the catalog of imaginary demons. But it's going to be a hell of a ride.
Yeah. One more thing, and then we're done here, folks. This is what I want to show you. This is about Mamdani. He ratios Cuomo today, right? And in the responses to him, right? I don't know what ratio means, but I guess that means he got more responses than the actual.
If you get more responses than likes, you're ratioed.
Yeah. But he got, what is this? Cuomo got 1.7 million views on it. I don't know what the difference is, but in likes and all that, yes, he did.
1.7 thousand.
1.7. No, look at 1.7 M here.
Oh, yes, you're right. I'm sorry. Sorry. I looked at the 1.7K on responses. Sorry.
So here's my thing, though. If you look at the latest polling, okay, the person who is I believe the chance, I'm not saying he's going to, but the only person I believe who has a fighting chance is actually Andrew Cuomo, because Eric Adams is polling fourth behind the Republican candidate in a Democratic city and barely makes double digits. At least Cuomo is about 10 points behind Mamdani.
I don't even think Cuomo could. I don't think Cuomo's. If you look at those numbers, I don't even think Cuomo can be a spoiler. There's just there's no territory for him to exploit here. And I don't think he's going to raise the money that he had before, although there are a lot of the billionaire weirdos like David Sachs who are saying they're going to put an unlimited amount into whoever is against Mamdani. I think they're actually counterproductive at this point.
Yeah, I think the money, I think the business folks and the wealthy people, they want Eric Adams, but I don't know. I keep telling them that's not really going to work. You're going to, whatever. That's just me.
The dog ain't good.
People all the time. All the time. I'm out on the streets of New York talking to people.
Yep. All right.
Oh, well, sir, thank you. I appreciate it.
As always, my friend. I'm going to be in the world next weekend. I'm going up with my beautiful queen. We're going up to an event on Fire Island, maybe out at SAG the next day. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, wait. Are you going to be in Sag Harbor?
We might go to SAG on Sunday. I'll let you know.
Come say hi.
I'll do it. I'll give you a call.
Are you going to the Pines to hang out with the gays, or where do you?
We're going to the rich side of Fire Island, not the gay side of Fire Island. It's the way they described it. So
you're going to, what is it? Something air. I forget what it's called.
Sea air.
Something. Some air. Something. Yeah. But anyways, look. Thank you so much. Where can we find you? Tell us where your Substack is.
I am at the Rick Wilson all over the place. On my Substack is Rick Wilson's Against All Enemies. A lot of content every week. And you can find me on Lincoln Project podcast and on the Enemies List podcast and on Molly Jong Fast. And I have a thing every Monday. So
love her.
I podcast everywhere all the time.
You know, she's my neighbor, right?
I know. I
can see her house from my.
I've heard the whole story. Yes.
Window.
She's very happy to have a new place.
I will not keep you this long, but I appreciate you staying the entire time.
Absolutely, Don. I loved it. Catching up.
Thanks you so much. The Rick Wilson, everyone, a fantastic guest, an expert. Okay. So, guys, you guys hear That is not, I'll tell you a story. That is not Barkley in the background. That is Gus. Gus is a senior dog. He's cranky because we were out in the backyard today and Gus actually fell into the pool. And he has not been happy about it ever since. I just had to lean over and pick him up. But he's old and he has a little trouble seeing. So we have to watch him. And so went into the pool. Boomer saw him. We were saying Boomer ran over. And so I ran over too and we grabbed him. But anyway, that's what happened. And that's why he's a little cranky and probably a little hungry. So Gus, anyways, Gus is going to be just fine. Okay. So here's the thing, guys. This is what I want you to do. Check out our website. If you want to know anything about this show, you can go to our website. And if you want to know how to get us, just go to donlemon.com. It's donlemon.com. You can click on the arrow at the top. That takes you right to our YouTube show. You can click on any one of those symbols below that says stream, and it'll take you to either iHeart Radio or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, where we are on as well. And then you can go here and you can see our Substack below, and you can go to our merch store. Okay? Now, this is our merch store. We have some new stuff up there. We have my Don Lemon favorites and all of that. The Don Lemon collection. We have candles. We got some new stuff. Go check it out. Folks are loving it. I told you, I had to give someone my hat this weekend because he demanded it. He demanded my hat. And so I was like, okay. I said, you can go to donlemon.com. He says, my wife banned me from getting any more stuff. You got to give it to me. I promise you. And I'll go and I'll buy somebody some stuff. I said, okay, great. So anyways, that's what we did. Now, you see that little bandana right there? We got all kinds of stuff. All right, just keep that bandana in mind. Now, look, check it out. Check out. Keep going. Scrolling. And so we got more stuff, but I want you to keep that bandana in mind. Now, let's go to one of our members. That's the hat that I've been talking about. Keep rolling a little bit, Andy. Keep going. There we go. And then there's another blue one. Okay. So one of our members, and this is what we want you to do. One of our members, there it is. Dogs love the Don Lemon Show. Thank you so much. What member is this again? I know it's in my thing. What member is this again, guys?
Stand by.
The member's name is Stand By?
It's Intuitive Girl 1966 on Instagram.
Intuitive Girl 1966 from Instagram. That is your doggy. Did she say the name of her dog? No?
I don't believe so.
Oh, man. Anyway,
But
that dog
that's an adorable pupper.
An adorable husky there. So cute. Thank you for that. Anyways, so Wynn got the doggy bandana. So thank you guys so much for supporting us. I appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you hit the thumbs up because it does affect the algorithm, all those things, and become a member. It is important to us. So I just want to say welcome, Paja Don Let, to the Lemon Nation. And welcome to all of our new members today. And some of the members, welcome to, who's a new member? Paja Dawn. And then also Morgan K is a new member. Chronicles of the Shady is a new member as well. So welcome. Darlene Burgess became a member. Lynn Tucker became a member. So thank you guys. Lorna Walters, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you all for supporting independent media. Welcome to the Lemon Nation. And thank you for those who have been donating memberships. Because of your generosity, folks get to become members of the Lemon Nation, okay? So, as I always say to you, you can be informed without being inundated. You don't have to sit in front of the TV all day and become outraged. You can tune in to us. We'll let you know everything. The engagement today was fantastic. Go check out our merch. Keep supporting us. And until I see you again tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time. By the way, we have a members only show after this. So if you become a member and you're a right member tier, membership tier, then you get to do what? You get to be on a private stream with us. I'll probably take the camera downstairs and I'll go feed the dogs and try to get Gus to be quiet. He's been barking the entire show. But until I see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time, for the rest of you who are not members, I say to you, turn the TV off. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we